Our special guest is absolutely phenomenal. He's one half of the famous comedy financial awareness wealth creation team, the Mooney twins. His pedigree is second to none. His father's Paul Mooney. And he's also a master teacher with the Mavette Way Community Empowerment Movement Network. He's a top producer. He's covering the topic of fasting and fasting into manifestation, into wealth. And we're excited to have him on. Mr. Mooney, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you this morning, Mr. C?
I'm great. Well, what I like to do is, I know I kind of told the folks a little bit about you, but I would like for you to elaborate a little bit more as well in reference to who you are and your background and how it led to where you're at right now, if you can mind, please.
Well, my background is I'm 60. I'll be 60 years old May 22nd this month, and my holistic journey started when after I did a motion picture called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh back in 1979 and 80, and on that movie project, I was turned on to one of Kareem. It was a basketball film, first of all. My father's Paul Mooney, so a comedian, writer for Richard Pryor, and an outstanding comedian in his own right. So I grew up in the industry visiting my father, and from 18 to 20 lived with him for 2 to 3 years. And so just with that background. And so being a comedian, morphing into a speaker and doing comedy and all of that. But back to the movie. So when I did the movie, Kareem Abdul, it was a basketball film, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the movie. In fact, again, the name of it is The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. My brother and I played part of the basketball team with Kenny and Benny Ray. And on set, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's friend was Abdul Mansour. He was a Muslim brother. He turned us on, which I never heard about. He turned us on to ginseng and tuna, eating high-level quality tuna for wellness and health. And we were talking more about health, and he turned us on to, he said, when you get back to Los Angeles, go to this yoga class. So there was also my start in yoga. So it was the yoga class. This was back in 1980, 79, 80. So a long time ago. So we go to the yoga class when we get back to Los Angeles, and we do the yoga, and the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous black woman, and she had a gorgeous, gorgeous sister, and her sister came in, was about our age or a few years older, beautiful, 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 and she had a jar of food, of black beans, a black bean dish, and it was all vegetarian. We asked her what was that, and it was all vegetarian, vegan at that, and that's the first time I had ever seen a vegan dish, that we had ever seen a vegan dish, because I was raised with with bean dishes with meat in it, and or cooked in pork or something, what we call soul food. And she was explaining, we were asking her about the dish, and I tasted it, and I was like, this is great. This is fantastically good. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about veganism. And again, I was 19 years old. I want to learn about this, learn about veganism. And she said, hey, if you want wellness, you want to do a 7-day water fast. And I'm like, a 7-day water fast? What is that? But she was so gorgeous and beautiful. Anything that she said that we should do, we was ready. So we immediately that day started a 7-day fast without any kind of education about it. A 7-day water fast with squeezed lemon in it and some maple syrup. And we started that fast. Now we didn't do any cleansing, any bowel detoxers, any colonics, any of that. We're 19 years old. There was straight 7-day fast, and we just started doing yoga, and we doubled up on the yoga and was doing 2 sessions of yoga, 2 90-minute sessions of yoga a day, and for 7 days fasting on combination of water, maple syrup, and lemons. A gallon of water every single day. Cold turkey. And that 3rd day, the first couple of days was feeling kind of sluggish, but the yoga was helping out. And it was the Bikram yoga, when you do the yoga with the heat on. That's the yoga we were doing at that time. And we were doing the yoga and every day and then feeling kind of sluggish the first 3 days. And then the 3rd day, we were feeling so good. And then the 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, the 7th day was feeling great. And then our father, Paul Mooney, he was like not understanding what we was doing. It was kind of jealous about the discipline too. And the 7th day, he said, "You guys got to break your fast. I'm gonna take you. Guess what? Because remember, we weren't educated how to break a fast, how to go into a fast. He said, I'm gonna take you to a soul food restaurant." So this is after 7 days. We go to the soul food restaurant and we hungry. And I don't know if you have to fast it, but you know your taste buds get so sensitive. So we like eating the soul food macaroni and cheese, meat dishes, all the soul food. It's good. We like, this is good. This is great. This is fantastic. This is delicious. Oh, to eat again. So we're eating and grubbing and getting our eat on. And we walk out the restaurant and we both of us bent over with our stomachs literally hurting. You talking about broke to the curb. Oh, man, we felt so bad, it was ridiculous. And that day, Mr. C, that day, we both decided we better learn about fasting for real. Because how could we feel so good for 7 days without eating? Without eating, feel so good just on water, maple syrup, and lemons, fresh squeezed lemons. How could we feel so good and then eat and feel so bad? Because granted, we weren't educated on how to break that fast. So what happened, we started our journey in our education. We went to libraries, we went to bookstores, we went to everywhere we could go to learn about fasting. Got turned on the books by Arnold Ehret, who was a famous, eccentric healer back in the day. Had one of the most popular, little slim guy out of Europe who was teaching about fasting and healing diseases and illness with fasting. And we got turned on to people like Mr. Paul Bragg, which was a famous health specialist who was in fact the teacher original teacher and motivator of the great Jack LaLanne. The great Jack LaLanne. If you don't know who Jack LaLanne is, he was a famous wellness instructor, fitness expert. And it's funny, I was on Jack LaLanne. I was in a herb shop a few years ago, and I saw the great Eric Lee, who's if you don't know Eric Lee, he's a legendary martial artist, Asian brother. And I'm in the herbal shop with brother Eric Lee, and I'm talking to the brother. He's an elder now, but he's still in tremendous shape. And I'm talking to him, and I'm saying, man, of all the people that you've been around the world, the martial arts specialist, Bruce Lee, you've known everybody and anybody in the martial arts world. Who is the most healthiest person that you know that you have ever seen? And Eric Lee said, Jack LaLanne. So, Paul Bragg was Jack LaLanne's original motivator, because Jack LaLanne was a very sickly person, and when he saw Paul Bragg just changed his whole life. Well, Paul Bragg was a master at fasting, dynamic faster, where Arnold Ehret was more of a spiritual and healing of disease. Paul Bragg taught fasting. He was vibrant. He was a physical fitness expert, and it was for energy and power, and he was just fabulous. In fact, he passed away later in his years. He was basically a vegetarian, but he started eating some raw dolphin and different things, and he died in a very old age. He actually died surfing, drowning, and he drowned, water got in his lungs. But he's a healthy, vibrant person. Still, products are still famous today. You'll see Bragg liquid aminos is his. You'll see different apple cider vinegars and different products. His daughter, Patricia Bragg, is still alive. I used to work with her. And so his legacy of wellness still goes on. And I'll talk a little bit about, as I go on, about what he talked about fasting. So we studied fasting, and the longest fast that I've ever done is 14 days straight of pure water. I've done 21 days of smoothie fast and liquid fast, and there's different kinds of fasting. That's what we have to understand, different kinds of fasting. As you know, in the Mavet family, we do a fast, 21-day prayer meditation fast that we do for 21 days. And in that fast, we eliminate one of five things: canned foods, meat, cheese, bread, so forth and so forth. Or anything that you know that is not so good for you, you can eliminate one thing, or you can do a complete fast where you can eliminate most things and just go on juices, or you can do one meal a day fast like the Muslims do, the Nation of Islam, one meal a day or one meal every 2 days. And there's all kind of fasts, but we have to realize that breakfast in the morning, when we have breakfast, literally means break fast. Break fast. Because the universe makes us sleep, so we have to literally fast for 8 hours, because if we didn't sleep, a lot of us are so addicted to eating, we would be eating 24 hours a day. Okay? So the universe, breakfast, makes us fast, because fasting is powerful. Fasting can literally rejuvenate you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You can detox on every single level. Fasting is proven spiritually. You have initiations in religions or spiritual movements around the world. Fasting is as old as the world is. You have the 40 days and 40 nights with Jesus in the Bible. You have Moses on the mountain fasting before he receives the Ten Commandments. You have shamans and gurus fasting for spirituality in caves, on mountains. You have different levels of fasting, all the way from, like I said, smoothies, juices, water, and even air. We're talking about breatharianism, where you're literally fasting off air, and you fast and you literally eat colors. You visualize colors, and become empowered by the colors. Very powerful. And if you ever do that, you want to do that in environments, healthy environments that have good air quality and that kind of thing. But that's possible. And this comes to, I had the opportunity to be with a master faster, be with him while he was fasting, and sometimes even fasting with him, Mr. Dick Gregory. And Mr. Dick Gregory turned me on to other people that I was able to work with, like Victor Koldinskas, who was the author of Survival Until the 21st Century. Dr. Ann Wigmore, Dr. David Allen, who would supervise Dick Gregory's fast and monitor it. And Dick Gregory was an extreme faster. He would fast for political reasons, for humanitarian reasons, and also health reasons. And I was able to witness him in real time. He had the energy of 3 people, and he very, very seldom even slept. I mean, if he slept, it was like 1-2 hours. I mean, he was literally a master faster. He would go a year. He would go a year on no solid foods. He would do that kind of stuff. He would fast like that was the way. Let's say a person's got a machine gun, a tank, a nuclear bomb. That fasting is the political person and the social activist weapon. Okay? Because the hunger, as Dick Gregory said, would tell me and tell us that the fasting opens the hearts of the enemies, and it also enhances the forces of the good energy to support you. Okay? It helps shift, as he would say, shift the wind, the energy of fasting. And that's just one person fasting, because if you are willing to fast and literally fast for a cause, you are literally putting your life on the line. And that's what the average person really thinks, because they think it's a do or die thing, but really it's kind of a little trickery in that, because it's really not, because you're really at the same time rejuvenating and actually enhancing the quality of your life, while people literally think you're dying, because the average person thinks if you're not eating, you're dying, which is a myth. Because now, if you're doing a complete water fast with no supplements, with no nutrition, with no anything, then yes, you will waste away. But Dick Gregory, he used to do supplementations. In fact, he had a product called the 4X formula that was a combination of seeds, nuts, and different nutritional factors, or anything he could get his hands on in the health food store and break down into powder and then mix it in water and be drinking. So he was actually a little slick with it. He was putting nutrition in his body, and one time he even ran from New York to Los Angeles. That was his famous fast. and walked and ran for world peace. And people was like, oh, that's amazing, that's phenomenal. But he was getting nutrition in his body and feeding his body. He just wasn't doing it off water. But anyway, Dick Gregory was a entertainer, and he was a showboat, and he loved to do stunts. But the fasting is real. And that's part of why his demise, his son said, because he took his body through so much intense things like that, walk and run from New York to Los Angeles, it kind of broke him down physically. Because as we were with him the last 2 weeks before his passing away, his spirit was strong as an ox, but his body just was ready to go. So fasting. And him, that's one way, the social piece and the political piece. Gandhi was the same way. He would go fasting for a cause, and it would focus the energy. And again, it is a nonviolence person's weapon, surrendering to the Creator, and allows you to take things to a higher level of existence. So that's a spiritual thing, proven, gets you closer to your Creator, proven in all spirituality and religions across the world. But in the history of time, when animals become sick, you'll see if you have a pet animal, the first thing they do is they stop eating. They stop eating. That's natural. You stop eating. In America, we're so programmed when we're sick, we continue to eat, and wonder why we can't get well. So the first thing you want to do is stop eating, because what you're putting to your body is what is making you sick, and it's causing mucus from dairy products, mucus from animal products, uric acid from the animal products, mucus from the dairy products and the bread products and all these type of things. So you want to stop eating, and if you are eating, you want to do soups, and you want to do fruits and raw vegetables and salads. Again, that is when you break a fast. That's back to breaking a fast. If I'm on a fast for 7 days, then I want to take another 7 days to break that fast properly. What does that mean by that? That means that when you go on a 7-day fast of water, you want to reintroduce food back into your body very slowly. If you're doing water, you want to reintroduce it into doing juices and or smoothies, and then raw fruits and raw vegetables, and then soups. You want to, over a 3-day period, reintroduce the food back into your body slowly, because if you don't, and you just start eating the craziness you were eating before, the 7 days that you did will mean nothing, because you re-enter toxins fast in your body, and you will become weak. Because the whole purpose of when you're fasting, you want to be cleansing while you're fasting. You want to be doing some colon cleanses or colonics or saunas and sweats, and you want to cleanse, because the toxins, if you don't cleanse, the toxins will recycle in your body, and you'll end up with headaches, you'll end up tired, you'll end up with all kind of negative things, because the toxins are recirculating in your body. All the soul food and all the junk food and all the foodless foods you've been eating all your life are recycling in your body. And this is why people go through different challenges while they're fasting physically, because it's the stuff that's in your body that's causing that. And when you start releasing all of that and cleansing all of that, the fast becomes easier, because you have less toxins, and that's why you feel better and better and better and better. A friend of mine of Sunfire Foods out of Reese Latham, he lives in Costa Rica. He lives above the clouds in the mountains, and he's a raw food specialist, tremendous raw food specialist, the best in the world. In fact, when they do raw food Olympian festivals around the world, he is the head chef, just have to bow down to. Reese Latham of Sunflower Foods, he just got off a 72-day juice fast or juice flush, and he just goes on and on and on, fasting forever, all the time. But he's doing it nutritional fast because he's using the juice of fruits and vegetables and nut milks and seed milks and things like that. So really, you're not fasting, you're juice dieting because you have nutrition is being put in your body. Because again, a true fast is a water fast and a air fast. That's the true fast. But we do call these other things fasting because you are giving up different kinds of foods. So he does, like I said, 72-day fast, 100-day juice fast, or juice therapy, or juice flushing is what they call it. So when you're doing juices, juices only, you want to, because the fruit juices can be extremely sweet and a lot of sugar content, so you want to use a little water in them to cut the heavy sweetness, especially people who are borderline diabetic or diabetic. You want to be very careful with so much fruit juices, vegetable juices, outside of carrot. Carrot is also very, very sweet and has sugar. I'm talking about fasting with green juices, squash juices. There's all kinds of things you can do, but you want to look at it with the fruit and vegetable juice fast, and also being able to do nut milks where you soak almonds and seeds overnight, and then you blend it with water, and then you strain it, and there you have a nut milk. You can use agave, you can use maple syrup or date sugar for sweetener, and, doing nut milks and seed milk can also be a part of your fast. And when you're doing the nutrition with the fast, herbs and supplements, and then you can literally walk around and do your everyday lifestyle because you're getting nutrition in your body. And we could go into that. I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about my own experience and what I've learned. So I don't want to go into the specific therapies. There are many books on that. I just want to give you an idea of giving up food and fasting for a while can be very powerful. But the bottom line, without going too long into it, the bottom line is, what can fasting do for you? Well, on the physical tip, of course, it can cleanse. It can cleanse and literally help heal you of any illness, any disease, any. There's a book that Dr. Schultz has, is called Incurable Diseases, where when the doctors give up on you and say, you are going to die in 2 weeks, and if you believe that, you will die in 2 weeks. But no doctor has the authority over your life. So it's called Incurable. So it's an intense regimen of fasting and cleansing, of herbal therapy and bath therapy, water therapy, cold and hot showers, and literally serious, intense baths and cleansing. But the primary aspect of it is fasting and juice therapy and cleansing. And man, around the world, people have been literally cured of AIDS, of cancer, of all kinds of diseases through that incurable disease information in that book. And I would really get that book and keep that book in the house, Incurable Diseases. It's a powerful book by Dr. Schultz. So health-wise, now we go to the next level. You got it where it can heal disease. Well, what about for better health? Just better health. You don't have a disease, you just want better health. Well, fasting is great for better health. You have again, the Nation of Islam, they tell you, once a day will give you long life and beautiful skin and beautiful health, eating once a day, one meal a day. And then when you go to eating one meal every 2 days, it gives you even more longer life and more vibrancy. Okay, now me, myself, I hardly ever eat breakfast. I don't eat until, till lunchtime, and not say anything against breakfast. Some people work better. It depends upon your lifestyle and what you do and what kind of work you do. If you do a lot of brain work, you want to be more lighter in your diet. But if you do a lot of physical work, you want to eat more nuts, seeds, starches, and these kind of things. You adjust your diet to your work output, whether it be mental or physical. The more mental you are, the less sluggish you want to be, because it's all about the circulation, it's all about the energy. But again, when you're fasting, health-wise, rejuvenation. Then mental-wise, rejuvenation. Your thoughts are better. Your mind is clearer. Your creativity is stronger. Okay, your outputted energy, even your heart chakra or your heart opens up when you're fasting. Third eye, your inner ear. Because we talk about the inner eye, the third eye, there's also a third ear, meaning you can hear things at another level. You can see things at another level. You can feel things at another level. You become highly sensitive and highly intuitive, okay, with fasting. And you will discover that, especially when you come out of the feeling of detoxing. And once you detox, you feel at another level on all levels. So when we go into fasting for wealth, because fasting can be used for anything. It can be used for attracting your dreams. It can be used for attracting money. It can be used for attracting wealth. Because what it's doing is, remember, raising your level of energy, raising your vibration, and also raising your vibration to attract and tune in that which you want to obtain in your life. It speeds up the process and speeds up the dynamic of energy, because you're putting yourself on the table of nature, on the table of the universe, and you're saying, heal me, bring it to me, because I have surrendered all this food, I have surrendered all of this digestion energy, I have surrendered all of that, because it takes a lot of energy to digest food. So when you are fasting, you are giving yourself more energy that would be taking digest food. Now you're just giving yourself more energy for thought power, for spiritual power, for emotional power, for physical power. You have literally given yourself more energy because you have given something up to get something more with that. Yes. I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
No, go ahead, brother.
Okay, you have given yourself more energy to obtain and get and accomplish what you want. So what does that mean in the FLOA, financial universe law of attraction? You become a magnet, a more powerful, energetic magnet to attract what you want, to literally create miracles in your life, because you become an energy magnet and you're raising your vibration. And this is scientific stuff. You can take pictures. They have aura pictures you can take, and you can see when they take those pictures when you're eating and then when you're on a fast, your aura, especially when you go after that 3 days and you start coming out of detox mode into rejuvenation mode, your aura gets brighter, your aura gets stronger. You just become a more powerful entity. So, seasonally, it's good to fast. Every season change, anywhere from 1 to 7 days. It's great to fast during those times, because that's when the time of nature is making a change. So then you wanted to go through the process of making a change and going with nature and detox at the time, and then rejuvenating yourself 1 to 7 days, or something you can go beyond 21 days. It doesn't matter. You can do what you do, but most people, most fasters, they recommend, that you fast every month 1 to 3 days, or at least once every week. You're fasting 1 to 2 days. What does that mean? You can have a fast from 24-hour fast. You can have a half-a-day fast, or you can have where you just skip breakfast a day. You have to adjust the fasting to how it works for you. But raising your vibration for the flow is like your visualization. And the funny thing, the good thing is not funny. The great thing is, in our system, when you're writing down your goals, see, we already have a setup of spiritual business that already works. When you put fasting on it, you will notice when you're writing down your goals, for those of you who fast and those of you who do the 21-day process, when you start writing your goals, when you write them down, it's clearer. All of a sudden, those words that you're writing down become even more powerful, even more vibrant. And that's the energy, because, again, you have given up food, so you have more energy, and the energy is coming through your thoughts right there on paper, and it's reflecting back on you, and the magnetization and subconscious programming becomes even more powerful, because now you have more energy to empowerment even more because of the fast. So we already have the system set up for us to be empowered. You put the fasting on it, it just increases the intensity, and it speeds up everything that you already wanted. In other words, it's like the Creator and the universe has your back even more, because you have given up something to get even more. Fasting is some powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. And a lot of people fast. I'm fasting, and they do it real cute, and which is cool. I'm fasting for weight loss. I'm fasting because I want to look good, and that's great. But it's a whole nother level to it. Not only can you look good, but you can feel good. You can think good. Your heart opens, because you cannot help. You want some joy in your life? You want some joy in your life? Go on a fast. All your depression leaves out the door after 3 days on the fast. You wake up at this time in fasting where you start waking up, and you just start waking up laughing and don't even know why. That's because you're feeling so good, and your feeling is not only just a good feeling, but it's a spiritual thing that's happening. It's an internal thing that happens. You know how I said earlier, it softens the heart of your enemies. Fasting even softens the heart of you. And you will notice, as you're fasting, that whatever problems you have, whatever challenges you have, the Creator starts telling you. And not to say, the Creator is always talking to you, always telling you, always guiding you. However, when you're fasting, you're able to hear the Creator. You're able to feel the Creator even more. So when you're eating and stuff, you're so busy eating, so busy chomping on that food, you don't have time to hear. You're too busy thinking about food. But when you give up that food and you become peaceful in your fast, you start tuning in, you start hearing better, you start feeling better, you start hearing the guidance and feeling the guidance. It's back to Dick Gregory as I close. People always wondered why he didn't have bodyguards. Why he didn't have bodyguards. And Dick Gregory used to always say, because, and this is what the sensitization of fasting does. He said, because people who carry weapons carry an odor. And when they carry an odor, I can smell that odor a mile away. And if I have bodyguards around me, I'll confuse the odors. So I know when they come in before they come in. That's how sensitive you become. Third eye opens, third ear opens, your senses open, everything becomes more powerful, and your vibration is strong. I mean, it's like a force field gets around you. Spiritual fast, I've been with business leaders, by the way, Mr. C, Dr. David Allen, some other business leaders, Ken Bridges and others, Larry Dett, who actually has business leaders. They fast to attract more business in their lives. They attract, so they fast to be on top of their business even more, so their minds will be at another level. People who fast before they go into court. You know, you're talking about going into court and dealing with a judge and dealing with an issue. Fast before that, days before that, and you will see that the angels or the guardians will come to your aid because of your fasting. The energetics of the universe will start supporting you. You can use fasting when you're going into a study. I'll give you an example. The event Saturday that we did, and people say, why can you be so funny? Why can you be so creative? Why does stuff come to you on the spot, right in the middle? Because stuff comes to me right in the middle of when I'm doing the presentation, and it just comes together in my brain, a bit or a piece. It could be something that I'm saying, or it could be a comedy bit, and so you think that I wrote it down. I haven't written it down. A lot of that just comes to me right in the moment, and I chose at lunchtime, before lunch, people were eating, said, what you going to eat? I said, I'm not going to eat anything. I'm just going to drink this smoothie because I don't want to eat that meal and again get sleepy. I want to just have my body free so my mind is sharp so I can hear the creativity and I can deliver it to the audience. So use fasting for a meal, a day, a few days, a lot of days, but use it as part of your regimen, and you will empower yourself on another level. Use it as a tool, and that's how I use it, as a tool, and then you will absolutely empower your life. We could talk for hours on fasting. I don't want to go on and on. I hope I shared enough information, Mr. C, that could at least give people an awareness to how fasting is not something mysterious, not something for spiritual people to do, not something just for health reasons, but it's also to attract anything in your life, and it will absolutely put you in the flow of the flower. It will heighten, like if you're fasting and you're listening to and watching the videos that Mr. C shares with us about wealth, your subconscious mind will be empowered faster and stronger if you're listening to it while fasting. It'll go deeper in, and the toxins of your mind, the poverty toxins will leave, and the prosperity good will impact and increase in your subconscious mind at a faster rate just from fasting. If you do one day, try this one day, just one day, one example. One day, just one meal. Let's say it's a dinner meal. Fast one evening and don't eat. And drink some water, drink some juice, or drink a smoothie, and fast, and watch one of those videos, the wealth video that Mr. C shared with us, and watch how in the morning, how you will be different because you will be impacted so strong because you gave up that meal, but you brought in the awareness of wealth consciousness in your brain. So use fasting as a tool to empower and enhance the quality of your wealthy life. I hope that's enough, Mr. C. Back to you. If you have anything to add, my brother, or any questions, please do.
We're good, my brother. And we really appreciate your knowledge, your wisdom, your giving nature, your awareness, your true understanding, and your passion on this particular topic. So we thank you so, so much. Be blessed, and we'll see you at the top.